What is up, my friend? Welcome to today's live. We are going to chat about how insulin sensitivity is your actual superpower to fat loss, attacking stubborn belly fat, increasing your energy, and also combating your cravings. So we have chatted about hormones in different ways. We've talked a lot about cortisol and how that can affect, the stubborn belly fat, both internal, that dangerous visceral belly fat, and also the annoying external belly fat. But we have not dived into insulin. So today I want to chat all things blood sugar, all things insulin sensitivity, and how this actually does impact your ability to feel amazing and look amazing in your body. So what does, low energy, stubborn belly fat, sugar cravings have in common? Besides the fact that many women struggle with these, they are all directly related to insulin sensitivity, or more so to insulin resistance. So when I say that, what am I talking about? Basically, insulin is not a bad thing. It is a hormone in your body that serves a very important purpose, right? So it is just regulating what happens when you intake glucose and how your body processes that and stores it or uses it, right? So due to like a poor lifestyle, not exercising, not doing resistance training, not building muscle, not eating properly, we can become more insulin resistant. And that leads to, of course, metabolic diseases like diabetes and things like that. So what we actually want to do is increase our insulin sensitivity. We want to make sure that our body is responding when we intake glucose and doing what it needs to do with it. Okay. Signs that it is not responding, again, are going to be that stubborn belly fat. This is, a lot of health professionals, people in the fitness, maybe I shouldn't say professionals, but people have opinions on this on Instagram and on social media. And some people say that this talk of hormones is complete nonsense, but I'm here to tell you it's not. Side note. Okay. So let's get back on track here. Because again, the fundamentals are the most important thing. Calories in, calories out. Are your macros balanced? You cannot cheat or override those. But when those things are all dialed in and you're still feeling low energy, you still have stubborn belly fat that you can't get rid of, you still have sugar cravings, that is a key pointer that maybe something's out of whack hormonally. So just side note, okay? But anyways, insulin resistance. We want to make sure we are insulin sensitive. So how do we do that? And how does that impact both your body composition and your energy levels? I'm going to give you guys my top 3 tips. Number 1, this is something I have said a lot and I will say again, is eating a very protein forward breakfast. Research has proven recently that, we've already discussed why protein is so important over and over and over, but when you do consume a high protein breakfast, at least 25 to 40 grams of protein first meal of the day, regardless of what you eat the rest of the day, that will actually balance out your blood sugars much more effectively for the remainder of the day. So even if the rest of your meals are not great, not focused on protein, if your first meal has at least 25 to 40 grams of protein, you are going to have better regulated blood sugars throughout the day. And that will lead to how you feel, right? That will help combat like that mid-afternoon needing a nap at 2 o'clock or needing some caffeine or wanting some sugar. It will really help stabilize your energy levels, but it will also help with, cravings as well, because cravings are tied to insulin sensitivity, right? People that are diabetic, people that have insulin resistance, they are more likely to have stronger and more persistent cravings, especially for sugar, carbs, things like that. So that's another reason why front loading your day with a decent amount of protein is going to help you not only feel more energetic, but also reduce cravings. So some examples, sorry, I need to drink. Some examples of a high protein breakfast: scrambled eggs. I make 4 eggs. 2 eggs is not enough protein, okay? So it does seem like a lot, but 4 eggs, you can throw in some cottage cheese if you want to get crazy. Up that protein even more. You can have a protein smoothie. You can have oats with protein powder. You can think outside the breakfast box completely and have something like, a beef and potato skillet. Like, you can get creative and do whatever the heck you want to do as long as it is high in protein. That protein is the main factor in insulin sensitivity, okay? In addition to that, yes, we want to make sure it does have a quality carb as well, and it does have some healthy fats, right? But the protein is the main factor. So front loading your day, again, this is like, I was just listening to some research on this recently, and continuing, what is it called? Glucose, oh my gosh. CGM, continuous glucose monitoring, which a lot of people are doing now, right? To study like how is the body reacting to certain foods, what foods are spiking insulin, how long does it take for that insulin to come back down. Recent studies on this have proven, again, that when you start that day with a lot of protein, it makes a 60% difference in how insulin sensitive you are for the remainder of the day. So again, it is the most important thing. If that is one habit you start doing, waking up and eating a decent amount of protein, that is going to impact your energy, impact your cravings, impact your body composition more than a lot of other things. Point number 2, building that muscle, baby. So muscle is essentially a glucose sink. I love that term. You may have heard this before. So muscle, it gives your glucose, I was going to say insulin, a place to go and a place to store, and it makes you more insulin sensitive. So it is so important to have muscle. I know I talk about this all the time. We want to make sure that you are training at least 3 times a week. If that's unrealistic or you're a beginner, 2 times a week is beautiful. If you are a zero beginner, you've done nothing, 1 time a week is enough to improve insulin sensitivity. So something is always better than nothing. And I mean, again, cardio is beautiful, but building muscle is what is going to impact your blood sugar levels the most, your ability to let your body, what's the word I'm looking for? Do what it needs to do with glucose. I ain't got the fancy words, guys. Yeah, I find this topic fascinating. So I can send you guys like some podcasts, some information, if you want to learn more about it beyond what I'm chatting about today. But it's very cool. So when we're working out, 2 to 3 times a week is optimal. You can do more, of course, but you don't necessarily need to do more for health benefits as long as you're training intentionally, right? And then when we're in the gym or when you're doing it at home with your dumbbells, you really want to focus on those big muscle groups, which of course I do in all my programming. We're not sitting there just doing shoulders, you know, or just doing ab crunches. Like we are doing squats, deadlifts, push-ups, pull-ups. We are training the large muscle groups so that we can actually improve our body's ability to balance hormonally, right? To balance metabolically. Yeah, so just lifting weights is an amazing thing. And I wish more people knew this. I wish more doctors would tell people when they are pre-diabetic or they, you know, just find out that they did become diabetic to go lift weights. It's incredible. And to eat more protein. Right? There's so many other solutions, and a lot of people have actually been able to get off insulin and to get off other diabetic drugs by doing the lifestyle thing. So I just feel like, yeah, people need more of this, like access to this information, right? And the research that is really cool and that we're figuring out a lot about. Okay. Third is balancing your blood sugar throughout the day. So again, these are things I talk about all the time, but it's important to kind of, you know, link it to the science of, oh, this is impacting my blood sugar. This is impacting my ability to, you know, shed the more stubborn fat that might be literally hormonally related, right? So how do we balance our meals? Macros, baby. Making sure that each time you eat, you are following that rule of hand. Right? A fist size of protein, 1 to 2 cupped hands of carbs. And I say 1 to 2 because if you are working out every day, you probably need 2. If you are at a very active job, you probably need 2. If your goal is to build muscle, you probably need 2. If you're in a deficit and you're trying to lose fat and that's your main priority, 1 is what you go for, right? Or if you're having a more sedentary week or a more sedentary job, go for the 1 cupped hand, but 1 to 2 cupped hands. And of course, all of this ties into the macros and numbers that you've already been given. But sometimes it's just nice to think about it like in an easier, more simplistic way, just using your hand. And then thumb of fats. Now, fats play a super important role in all of our hormone, you know, production and stabilization, including insulin. So healthy fats, right? We want to have eggs. We want to have Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, avocados, nuts and seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds. There's so many beautiful, healthy fats out there. And just like driving home the point, don't be afraid to eat, right? Your body Your hormones are going to thrive when they're nourished and when you're fueled, and our food choices play such a massive role in all of this stuff. Yeah, so those are the top 3 points, really. And what does this have to do with stubborn fat? Again, when our hormones are out of whack, this is the area, especially for women, that is kind of a signifier if you're like, hey, I never used to carry a lot of weight here and suddenly I am. Or like maybe your stomach is like protruding more and that's a sign that you have more visceral fat. So it's not just about the aesthetics, it's really about the health implications, right? That visceral fat sitting on top of your internal organs is a direct, what's the word I'm looking for? Not prerequisite, but it is like linked to so many health conditions that are all linked to your insulin sensitivity, right? And also to cortisol. But I've talked a lot about cortisol lately. The funny thing is, the tips I give on managing and balancing cortisol, exact same as insulin. The tips I give on, how to lose fat, up your energy, they're literally all the same. But it's kind of cool when you can link it back to, hey, this research has proven that having a protein breakfast directly impacts my blood sugar levels, directly impacts my insulin sensitivity. And that's why it's linked to, stubborn belly fat and energy levels. So takeaway from all of this is keep going to the gym. Make sure you are working out with enough intensity to actually build that muscle, right? Not just showing up and going through the motions or showing up and lifting light, but actually pushing yourself to the point where your body is going to respond, and it is going to become more metabolic in function, and it is going to improve your insulin sensitivity, and then eating a big ass protein breakfast. If you're watching, I want to hear, what is your protein breakfast? What is your protein go-to? What have you been eating lately that's protein? Mine lately is eggs, of course. I'm obsessed with eggs. Adding cottage cheese into them. I bought the Ninja Creamy, which has literally been the best thing ever. But yeah, there is such a link. And I mean, being my client, so many of you have already experienced this. When we focus on more protein, suddenly your cravings disappear. And I love seeing that and hearing that and just kind of seeing that aha moment, because it can seem like the two things are completely unrelated, right? Like having cravings, especially for sweet things, you might think, oh, I just have no willpower or I just like those foods. But once you become super intentional about eating enough protein, hey, those cravings disappeared. It's wild. And it's all related to blood sugar. It's all related to insulin sensitivity. Or even going from doing so much cardio to now you're lifting weights 3 times a week. Hey, your cravings disappeared. Hey, you're sleeping better at night. So much of this is hormonal in nature. And it's just, I find it fascinating to kind of link all these things together, right? Or someone suffering from PCOS, for example, that can feel like a very out of control, hopeless thing, but it is directly related to lifestyle, right? And it's not that this is a quick fix. It definitely takes effort, but just implementing those 3 things, literally eating more protein, going to the gym, targeting those muscles, and eating balanced macros throughout the day, you can get off your meds that you needed, right? It's a very powerful thing. So that's what I got. Let me know if you're watching live. Let me know if you're watching on the replay in the comments. And I do want to do a little mini challenge for the rest of December, and I'm calling it the Breakfast Brag. So what I want to do is just create more inspiration, more motivation in this group amongst you beautiful ladies to have more new protein ideas, or to get more motivated and inspired when it comes to eating a protein rich breakfast, which is going to do all these other amazing things for you. So posting your breakfast every morning, posting your protein rich breakfast, #breakfastbrag, and just sharing with us. So we can support each other in making these changes. Amazing. And 12 days of fitness is coming up. I haven't talked a lot about it, but it is just going to be a little bit of an accountability challenge within this group. And I'm super, super excited for that. There's going to be prizes, and it's nothing hardcore. I don't want anyone to feel the pressure of having to stay, so dialed in on your goals during this Christmas season. This is more of, let's make it fun, let's keep it light, and let's find ways to continue to grow the community and to grow the motivation, inspiration, and support within our community, while having fun around the holidays, but taking kind of a laid back approach, right? Knowing that your time with your family is the most important thing right now. That connection, just chilling, enjoying the season is the most important thing, but also having a lot of fun, staying on track with fitness at the same time. Beautiful. Mwah. Let me know if any of that was interesting, if you have questions, and what is your go-to breakfast right now. And I will talk to you soon.